Minor league baseball cap collector.
Okay, those are great. So it's all minor league baseball?
These are all minor league. Yeah. I have
Those are kind of fantastic.
this is 10% of my collection.
10. That's fantastic.
I have over 200.
You have over 200 minor league caps?
I have over 200. Yeah.
We're going to keep this part in.
Have you been to all these, or you just like collect the caps?
Not all of them. So I started collecting, served my mission in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 teams.
You want it basically to be like right there.
There's like 10 different teams in North Carolina. And so I figured that would be my way like to memorialize the little towns I was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I'll buy logos that I like and places I've been, but like ones I like too. It is an homage to like where I've been and what I've seen, but it's more than that now. I just like logos too and having different ones.
So the real question is, where do you stand on the banana?
The Savannah Bananas?
Savannah Bananas. Are they too silly? I mean, have they too silly-fied the minor league baseball, or are you okay with it?
Well, they're not even real minor league baseball. They're not in the system, right? But yeah. I'm okay with it. My kids love it.
Yeah, of course. Kids love that stuff.
I don't want to be just a purist or a gatekeeper or anything.
Yeah.
So like it's fun. If it gets you into the sport, that's fun. But I do like old school baseball. Like I do like the major league. The minor leagues are all fun now, and I like that. I don't like that it's ever too weird, but I like food ones because I love food. I love eating like regional foods, and a lot of them have like regional food logos.
Of course.
Like the biscuit one I have, and then the Indiana pork loin sandwich. And this one, I went on my mission to Charlotte, so that's a barbecue sandwich. So that one's like one of my favorites.
It's fantastic. So, are you one of those old man baseball people that sits there and like Justin's just like, what are we going to talk about baseball the whole time?
I don't stack keep. No,
you don't stack keep during the game.
No. I have not been a big baseball fan, but the athletics coming to Vegas and my son plays baseball is All right, hey,
welcome to another episode of Take It Rights. I'm one of your hosts, Justin W. Wilson, Esquire. This is Shane D. Cox, Esquire. Not intended to create legal advice. If you need a lawyer, consult one in your own area. We have an esteemed guest who loves baseball.
Esteemed.
Do you love baseball?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, listen. Where am I going to start with
the
a lie?
real question I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Where did you do your mission?
In Santiago, Chile.
So you speak the Spanish as well?
Yo trato.
Oh, okay.
Trato hablar en español, pero ha sido muchos años.
Do you have?
It's been a while.
Do you have some kind of like colloquial difference being Chilean versus, some other Spanish-speaking country?
Oh, 100%. So when you learn it in another country, and then you get like back to the States. I mean, so a lot of the Spanish here come, from Mexico.
Sure.
And so I remember I came back and I was like, I'm going to roll in Spanish. I'm good at this. And then the people start saying stuff, and I'm like, wait, what? And so there's just so much like dialect and so much, catchphrase, all that stuff. It was wild.
I've talked to people from Ecuador, all kinds of places. I don't know how many Chilean people I meet.
You know what? Yeah.
They have a pretty solid country. They're not like, trying to leave as often as some other countries. So
you don't meet a ton of Chilean. I mean, the bummer is that I can't think of a Chilean restaurant here in Las Vegas. And you'd think Las Vegas, right? It has like every kind. It has everything.
Ethiopian food.
Yeah, no, but you don't have any Chilean restaurants around here that I know of.
What's the kind? Because I love food. What kind of food is Chile known for?
So it's got to be. So you got to start with the empanadas. So they got their empanadas. They're phenomenal. The empanada de horno is like the best thing.
Is it different than the empanadas I've had?
Like northern, South American?
I mean, it's going to be different. So they don't fry it. They cook it, so it means up from the oven. So it's like baked.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's like a ground beef. I'm glad we're doing food. This is a food podcast. Food. I'm here for it. So it's ground beef. It's got like raisins. It's got a lot of spices in it.
Raisins?
It's got like hard boiled egg in it.
That doesn't sound bad. You throw those in like a salad. It adds some.
Yeah, I'd try it.
It's legit fantastic. Like it's just amazing. And then the other thing, my other favorite Chilean thing, and a real Chilean would be so mad at me that I'm not bringing up like pastel de choclo, like the official foods, but they have the best hot dogs down there. Just the best because they put on like an avocado spread over it. So you eat like the palta, they call it the palta. So you put all this avocado on it and tomatoes. And
what year did you do this?
It's amazing. Well, I'm not a young man, so it's been a minute. This is back in the 90s. This is back in 94 and 96.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about it. I'm like, oh,
positive experience altogether, though.
It was fantastic. I loved it.
Did you get to? I mean, I know when you're doing your mission, at least from what I've heard about people, you guys are pretty busy. So
Super
did you
busy.
Get to like go out into the jungle, check out the mountains? Like
there's
a lot of rules to try and keep you safe. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules, and also you have to kind of keep it tight as to your area. So you have an area, and you're not allowed to just kind of like wander off. So you got to keep it there. So you got to understand. So in my mission, it was Santiago, Chile, and so the vast majority of my mission was like. You're like in like in it, like in the city. So it wasn't like cool, you know, like
you don't even
walking
get
out
like
there with a Bible and a machete kind
a
of thing.
weekend off. You don't get to like, go explore a little bit.
No.
The day off is to do your laundry.
Yeah, day off, do laundry, do some
get
shopping.
ready for the week and stuff.
Go explore the mountains.
A little bit, but not. No,
I would
not
never
out of
be
your
able to be
area.
a good Mormon because I'd say, you see that mountain? I
had
want to
one-
climb that.
I had one area that was up in the mountain, and so we got to like ride our bikes and did a little bit of exploring there. That was kind of cool. But as far as like beyond that, no, you keep it kind of tight. And so one of my areas was just literally, so you know, the communists ran the place for a while there, and so they built the blocks, the apartment buildings. And so you would come to some areas and you'd just be like apartment buildings that all looked exactly the same as far as the
like
eye
some
could see.
Soviet looking.
Yeah, just like some Soviet looking stuff. And so some of the
I in
areas you'd
Eastern
just be
Europe
there
now?
and
I don't
like,
know.
that was there. Like that's what
Yeah.
you did. That's where you lived and did everything.
Okay.
It was kind of cool.
So we should probably back up.
Yeah.
Since I forgot this part. Introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, there you go. My name's Pete Thunell, and I am running for District Court 26. And so that is
What courtroom is that?
So Judge Sturman, she retired recently. And so what it is, it's kind of, they're doing an appointment and an election. And so the people who put in for the election can also go for the appointment. And so the appointment should be coming up in the next few weeks. So I'm excited about that.
So you could get appointed.
If I got appointed, well, so if you get appointed, you still have to run to retain it though.
Right, but
So-
you'll be the acting judge until like from when you get the hat tip.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to like in a month. I don't want you guys to be like wah, wah, bloopers. Like, oh, remember when Pete said he could get appointed?
No,
and then he
that's not what I'm
didn't,
saying. I'm not saying that you will get appointed. I'm saying you could get appointed.
I could.
And
So, yes.
structurally, how that would work, they give you the nod.
Yeah.
So your job that you're currently at, which we'll discuss in just a second, goes away. You immediately start being a judge.
Yep.
Then I'm assuming there's no judicial college for that because it's just like, hey, we'll give you like a shake and bake course or whatever, and you're going to go start judging things.
I think some people might not be happy that we're calling it shake and bake, but yeah, I mean, I would get tossed right in and start.
Well, shake and bake is just a term.
I know,
that-
I'm teasing.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
joking.
just,
I'm just joking.
And I don't
Yeah.
mean literally like shake, but it's like
Wait, how's that?
a
Shake
reminder.
and bake?
Shake and then
So,
bake. You know?
so were there more than 3 people that put in for the appointment, or is it the same? There were 3 people, right?
So
that
3
are up
people
for
are in the
election?
race
Okay.
in it, and then of the 3 people, 2 of us put in for the appointment. So you
Okay.
got Jessica Goody, who's a civil justice of the peace, and so she didn't put in for the appointment.
Okay, 'cause she's already got a-
because she's currently a justice of the peace,
And that would just create a new gap.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so it was myself and Dan Hoagie, who is a bar counsel, and so he and I were both in the race, and then
Is
we
he
both
like
put in.
lead counsel right now?
He is. He is the.
So he's Brian's boss.
he's the bar counsel. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That name sounds familiar, but I've never personally had to deal with him.
Yes.
Don't know how.
I was gonna say, whenever people say I don't know him, I'm like, hey, congratulations, because
Yeah. Have you had any? Have you ever had a bar complaint?
Not that I know of.
Well, how it works is they can get submitted, and you
Yeah.
probably had criminal defendants say, as I've heard, even today being in court, I'm going to make a bar complaint, right? And so
Yeah.
they can send whatever to the bar, and the bar filters the bad
Well,
ones.
what I
and-
mean is you've never heard anything.
No, I've never heard of it.
And have you been a prosecutor your whole career?
Pretty much. So when I came out to Vegas back in 07, 07, I started I was at Alverson Taylor, Mortensen Sanders.
How long were you there?
6 months.
Oh, you were 3 times as long as me.
Yeah, so I was there for 6 months, and then I went to the DA's office. So I've been to the DA's office. So it was essentially 18 years.
How much
so for
did
the
you
most part.
love doing medical malpractice insurance defense?
You know what? It was awesome. It was.
So I really like Leanne a lot.
Yeah.
She was so.
Same
Court-
lady when you were there.
Courtney Christopher was above me, and then the name partner that was above us, because like they broke it up to umbrellas, was Leanne.
Yeah. Okay.
So Leanne
Yeah.
was great. I just, that structure for me, having come from a prosecutor role where I'd already done 7 solo felony jury trials to then doing doc review.
Yeah.
Was back to the hammer, and I was just like, please let me depose somebody. Please let me get in the courtroom. This sucks. Well, as a new attorney, I feel like it'd probably be a little easier to stomach.
Yes, in the sense, because you're right, it was a new attorney. What was tough for me was I had done my 3rd year at University of Utah, and in that I did a externship at the DA's office.
okay.
So I already kind of got a little taste, of being there and like being in court and all that, and I really enjoyed it. And so that's kind of what led me to go to the DA's office. Is I started there, and then I heard about an opening at the DA's office, and I thought,
So you're kind of
"Man,
just biding
I really
your time."
enjoyed that. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, honestly, the coming here to Vegas was to come work at the firm. It wasn't to like jump to the DA's office.
Oh, okay.
But it's one of those things like, sometimes you have something that just kind of tickles in the back of your head.
Sure,
It was
sure,
like a tickle in the back of the head where I was like, I really enjoyed that. I think I was good at that. Like I really liked that.
All right, relax. You liked it. You liked it.
Okay, all right. So it's going to be one of those podcasts. All right, that's fair. That's good. Good. I like it.
Hi, I'm Justin. Have we met?
I know. I'm teasing,
What are you
Justin.
talking about?
I'm teasing. No, but so it was one of those things where when it popped up, I was just like,
Yeah, why not?
Like, man, I really like doing that. Like, I want to do that. And so I jumped in.
And then, so halfway through 2007-ish, you get on with the DA's office. You've been there ever since.
Yeah, right at the beginning, 2008.
2008. Okay. Yeah. So getting close to 18, 19 years.
18 years.
And good job security in criminal as opposed to, the economic downturn you're talking about in 2008 too.
Sure.
Hit attorneys real bad.
Well, they also, didn't the DA's office have a hiring freeze then? And there was a whole bunch of stuff. So if you wouldn't
this guy remembers. I
don't remember. I just know because I was not even out of college yet at that point. I just started college.
No, it was actually, it has happened since, thank goodness. Knock wood. But at the time, I remember when I got hired on, I got hired on and then they went on a freeze for a while. So I was like the young guy for like 2 years.
Yeah, because.
Which is good. But for 2 years, it was just me.
Wasn't it Colleen that was talking about she was a clerk and she had to extend her clerkship because of that?
There were people
that got stuck as a clerk for 2 years because they couldn't bring them up because they were frozen. And so,
Colleen's a little younger than Pete, but.
Right. Who am I thinking of? Somebody we talked to said that
I think it might have been a different freeze.
Maybe.
There was a 2020 freeze as well.
I'm trying to remember. I honestly, I can't remember. It was Colleen. I want to say Chris Hamner. I'm pretty sure Chris Hamner is one of the. There's like some people who've been in the office for a while who had to really wait their turn to get that position because of the freeze at the time. And I would come home all the time and tell my wife, I'm like, hey, good news. I haven't been laid off yet. Because I was worried because I was like last guy in, last guy in, first guy out. And so I was sitting there, I was like, gosh, if they do layoffs, I'm dead meat. So I was really freaked out about that.
When you were there, what team did you start with?
So I started off on general litigation. I was Brian Rutledge was my first team chief. And so that was in front of Judge Sullivan and Judge Goodman. We're still there.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Really?
Same everything. It's
some are long-standing.
Listen, some things are long-standing. So I've been appearing in front of those guys forever.
I like
forever.
She's cool.
No, she's great. Listen, I love them. They're
Can
great.
I ask a question?
Yeah.
And it's like, not to be a jerk.
Oh, boy. Not to be a jerk is my favorite place to start.
But Judge Goodman has a very specific speech pattern. Has he always spoken like that?
To my recollection, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. To my I'm going back 18 years, but yeah, I believe so.
Because I reappeared in front of him the other day, and it was just like, some people just have like a different accent or whatever. His speech pattern's interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. No, as far as I remember.
Okay. I don't know why that just popped in my head, but.
No, great. It is funny to think that it's been 18 years. I'm like, oh yeah, they're still there, just grinding along.
But that's only 3 elections, bro.
Was that the old courthouse?
That was no. I didn't. I got to the new courthouse right as it was kind of like newish.
Okay. Where was the old one?
It was like
right next to it. Yeah.
Did they demolish it or did they just repurpose the building?
I want to say they demolished it.
I think it's where the parking area is now that everybody parks in. But
the one that's like catty corner past.
It's like a block. It's like a block down or something. Because once again, I wasn't there. And
I was like a runner in 2006, 2007, and I went to it. I remember the new construction of like the new nice courthouse, and everybody was all excited about it. But
so you're on a general lit team.
Yeah, so I started off Rutledge. I don't know if you guys know Brian. He's great. Mm-hmm. He was my first team chief, and I did that for a couple of years. Tallene Panic, she was also one of my team chiefs. That was with Tim Fattig. That was a lot of fun. He was great. He lives in Hawaii now. He retired in Hawaii.
Yeah, you're talking about all these retired people.
I know all these retired people.
You're really dating yourself here,
bro.
Listen,
because nobody else would date me. That's the old joke, right?
Hey.
Oh. No, but so then what was fun is then I got to be on the outlying team, which is basically everywhere but Vegas, which I loved. I know Justin's laughing, but I loved being on that outlying team. I thought it was so cool.
That's not why I'm laughing.
But it was so much fun because you got to like drive to Laughlin or you're driving to Mesquite. So like every day is kind of like a new adventure. You're like, where am I going today? So I actually thought that was awesome.
Breaking up some monotony. I think the outlying team would be fun.
Tons of fun.
When they changed it recently to make it where it's like a 2-person deal.
Yeah, it's a lot tighter now. Well, they just kind of restructured some things. I think part of the restructuring just came from, I don't think people love the outlying the way I loved the outlying. You know what I mean? Sure. Like some of the younger people were a little more like,
where are you from originally?
Colorado.
What part?
Fort Collins, up north.
Yeah, well, not a huge city.
Yeah. I mean,
you get to be going places, meaning you could, I'm going to go to the mall or whatever, and you might have to drive somewhere.
Yeah.
For people like, Fort Collins is a lot bigger than Sedan, obviously, but for me, it's like, it's only a 2-hour drive. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Where people that are from a city are like, oh my God, I had to be in the car for 2 hours, right? Like, so I think that's probably part of it.
Yeah. Some people, so you get like younger DAs who'd be like, oh my gosh, I got to drive to Mesquite. I'm like, guys, you're getting paid to like listen to a podcast,
it's a
head out there,
40-minute drive.
Have all day, you have lunch out there. I'm like, it's like an adventure. I was like, what's there not to love about that? I never understood like people who didn't like it. I enjoyed
like whenever I've gotten to do cases in different places, you get to kind of see you get some perspective on Vegas and how lucky we really are here.
Yeah.
From the perspective of like, smaller town judges. You get to experience what a smaller town judge is really like. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not something you're going to enjoy as much. But I think it's good to get that.
It's all about perspective.
Exactly. It's to get that perspective. That's what I'm saying. I think it's, and it can kind of help you appreciate where you're at or appreciate the diversity that exists. And it's nice.
Yeah, no, it was fun. And it is fun when you're appearing in front of a lot of different judges because as we all know, I mean, every judge is very different in the way they approach things and how they see everything.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite judges of all time is Judge Toon out there in Mesquite. I think he's phenomenal. He's just super steady, super sharp guy.
Yeah.
Just takes his time, but really thoughtful on everything.
Yeah.
So when people are, and I know this isn't what you were saying, but I'm like, sometimes people are like, oh, small town judges. I'm like, there's some pretty good judges out there. Like,
no, there are.
There's some sharp judges out there that you'd be surprised how good they are.
Well, I think that tends to happen. A lot of the small town places, like I'm the prosecutor in Boulder City. We got the Victor L. Miller Courthouse.
Yeah.
And my judge is Victor L. Miller.
Yeah.
If you look at the picture of him, it's from the 80s, right? Like when he first took the bench. He's been practicing for as long as I've been alive, right? So obviously there's some knowledge there.
Is he still doing? I thought he
is.
Yeah.
No, he's doing he wasn't the JP and now he's the Muni. And I don't know what's going on with that. There's I think somebody said that he's thinking about retiring, but
oh, see, I had assumed he had retired because I knew he'd retired from the JP.
No,
parts.
Tillman's the JP.
Yeah,
now.
I knew Tillman. Yeah, I knew Tillman. I appeared in front of him just a few months ago.
Yeah, no.
And so, I didn't know that Miller was still doing it.
No, he's still out there.
Ah, there you go.
And it's like you speak to that person and it's like you've done more in, even if we cut your career just to a decade, you've still got more experience than me.
Yeah.
And that's knocking 66% of your legal experience out. So from that perspective, it is kind of interesting, right? Because you see these judges and I think the downside to that, and again, I'm not being critical of any particular judge, but sometimes, the older we get, the more stuck in our ways we get.
For sure.
Right? You get these judges, they've been the judge for 35 years. And you come from another place where maybe things are done just a smidge differently. So you go to this place thinking, oh, it's still Clark County. It's going to be the same. For example, defendant present at arraignment.
Yeah.
Normally, not a big deal, right? Justice court, muni court. I can appear and no one's going to bat an eye.
They hired you. They paid you. You're
Right.
going to show up.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
and I
normal.
want to say it's Mesquite where I went for one and he's like, where's your client? And I'm like, well, I instructed him not to be here. So you're asking me to waive his presence. Yes, Your Honor, I am. Right? Things like that, things you don't small stuff, right?
No,
which can be
a
bit of a different thing, especially if you've never been there before and you didn't think to ask, which that's probably my failure as an attorney sometimes is I just assume, this is the way it's done in Clark County. It must be the same everywhere. And then you figure out, wait a minute, it's just like Sedan, where Montgomery County might be this way and Sedan is in the same district, but they are completely different, right? So...
No, totally different approaches. I totally agree.
Yeah, so that's the disconnect sometimes, I think.
So following outlying, what was next for you?
So I did outlying for, let's see. So I was on general lit, then I was on outlying, and then I got put on the special victims unit. And so that was kind of my first. So
you've been there twice?
3 times.
Oh, wait.
It was my 3rd time. So special victims unit, and so that was kind of I want to say a rite of passage at the DA's office, but once you do kind of general lit for a little bit, then a lot of times they'll kind of put you in a what we call specialty team. And so this,
but it doesn't have to be SVU.
No. I mean, it could be
a team.
Yeah, a team. So we'll have a guns team, gangs team, SVU,
DUIs,
vehicular,
HIDA.
DUI, HIDA. There's a bunch of them. And so I did that for a couple of years and it was awesome. And then from there, I got moved over to the gang team and I was on the gang team for 4 years. And that was a lot of fun. Was that a gang sign?
I don't know.
I was like, you guys know what this means.
You should know.
Those who know is what I'm trying to say. No, it's for 4 years. So I was on the gang team for 4 years, and it was a really cool team. It was Daniel Piper, it was myself, it was Banu Palal, and it was Mike Schwartzer, and there were some other people, but we were the core 4 for a while there, and just awesome, just an awesome group, and it was just we did a lot of really good work, and just really enjoyed each other's company. So I really loved that team. It was great. And then after that, they put me over on what's called case assessment screening.
Right. That's where Scow is right now, right?
Yeah, Scow's there right now.
Okay.
And with screening, it's just basically it's just thousands of cases just coming through, and you're just going through, you're assessing them, you're deciding whether are we going to prosecute it, if so, what are we going to charge, all that kind of stuff. And so it's just kind of,
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
And so it's just all that kind of thing. And so it's a lot of reading, and I mean a lot of reading.
Right,
and
but you're just basically,
Feels like
I'm assuming
homework.
you're just doing like PC affidavits and stuff, and just literally on its face, 4 corners, What do I see?
Yeah, and part of that sometimes is you're reaching out to the detectives. You're like, okay, hey, talking through cases, everything, but it's just a lot. And actually, after 2 years, it blew my eyes out. So now I have to have glasses to read. Honestly, it just burned the eyes.
Yeah, law school. I had perfect vision before law school, and at the end of law school, and my prescription's minor. It's like a negative 0.25.
Yeah,
but before it was fine.
Yeah,
and then like all that close reading, the optometrist said there's like he calls it the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes of reading, you need to look 20 feet away for 20 seconds.
Well, and where were you back before I did this? Because I couldn't use that.
No, I still don't do it.
Yeah,
so,
I was like, I didn't do that.
It's something to do with your eyes not constricting, like to focus, to look further away, where's the muscles at or something like that. So it makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Any other teams you've been on?
Okay, so then that.
Wait. I got another screening question.
Yeah, screen away.
So how many attorneys are there? Got to be a handful, right? Because you guys have to get tons of.
Yeah, no. It's like I'm trying to remember. It was like 6 or 7 of us.
Okay,
like 6 or 7.
And it's literally just, hey, these are all the PC affidavits. Let's get through them.
Yeah, I mean, and so you'd have like your stack, and then with the, as you guys know, IA court, the initial appearance court, so you'd be on your days for IA court, you'd show up at 6 a.m. and you just get like 30 cases, and you had to have them ready because you had to go argue them by 9 a.m.
Determine what you're going to do.
Yeah, and then you come back, and then you had to be ready, read through, and then you go back at 1:30 and do it. So that kind of stuff was more like in the essence. And then the other ones you might have like a little bit more time, but what you learn is if you just start to slack or if you're slow, the pile grows. So you got to just keep reading and moving, kind of thing.
Well, it does. I think it trains you to have that eye to look. Maybe not in a 10,000 foot view, but a 5,000 foot view. Let's issue spot.
100%.
Move on with it. There's a Fourth Amendment problem here.
Yep.
I could litigate it, but I know I'm not going to get over it. Screw it. Let's move on to the next thing.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what you're doing. You're issue spotting. You're looking for, like I said, within what charges do we have here? Can we prove it? I mean, all that kind of stuff.
Right. But that's preponderance, right? You're not looking for beyond a reasonable. At that point, you're looking for charging. So
what you're doing on screening is, I mean, the police they can arrest, right?
Sure.
They can arrest on the probable cause, but from the DA's office, what we're looking for is, can I prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt? So you are looking at that. You are looking at, you're reading, you're saying, can we prove this case? Can I look at a jury and prove this case up?
Sure.
And so that's definitely part of it, because sometimes, we all know, we worked in this, sometimes there's some cases where you're like, I mean, I can see why they arrested him, but I'm not going to be able to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. And so as a screener, because we're getting literally tens of thousands of cases, you have to be really kind of like disciplined as to, okay, well, here's what we can go forward on, what we can't.
Be just judicious about your approach and what you want to spend your time on.
Yeah.
Because it's not just your time either.
Yeah, it's somebody else's.
It's several deputies and several staff members, and like each one is going to be many man hours.
Yep.
People hours, whatever. Oh, come on. I don't know. I always say stuff.
I know what you mean.
And
I don't know
it's
if
been
that's
21 minutes and 57 seconds, and guess what I haven't done?
No swears.
Not a swear word.
Hey,
that is a new record.
Hey,
that's a new record. Pete. Thank you.
Nice job, Justin.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good on you.
Insert
good
clap
on you,
noise
buddy.
here.
I hate you. Anyway, so
feels
from
Feels
no, it
good.
doesn't. It doesn't. It's hard. I almost said one just a minute ago.
First time being surrounded by people of our faith, though, huh? We're outnumber you.
I got a. It's,
you got Austin
50-50.
here.
It's 50-50.
All right.
But he went to didn't you do some?
I did Boy Scouts, and then they told me I had to do my duty to God, and I was like, that's lame.
Close enough. We're counting him. He's
Oh, great. So anyway,
he's got deputized.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst Catholic, so I don't think it matters for me. So from screening, what'd you do next?
So then after screening, then I became the deputy on SVU in charge of sex trafficking cases, and so I did that for a few years.
Tough stuff.
You know what? It was tough. It was really interesting. Here's what I loved about it. I think my favorite times in the DA's office is when I have kind of like a set group of officers or like that where I get to know them. I get to work rapport.
Yeah.
Like we get to work together. And so in this case, I worked with the vice team. I mean, all my cases, I knew it was going to be one of a handful of people. And most of it was coming from Metro. I didn't get a lot of pimp cases out of Northtown or Henderson, some, but not a lot. So it was mostly just vice from Metro. And it was cool because this way, like I would know about the case before, and it was where I would know about the case before they even hit my desk. They'd call me up. They're like, "Hey, Pete, we're doing this warrant." Talking about it. So when it hit my desk, I was already running with it.
So did you, as a specialty team member with this access, or not access, but this relationship with these particular detectives?
Yeah.
Would you always be the point of contact for the search warrant phone, or does it go through the same normal channels?
It goes through the same normal channels, but they would keep me apprised of big cases coming through.
We haven't talked about that yet. Explain what the search warrant phone is.
So what they have the officers do is before they submit a warrant to the judges, basically they're trying to help cull out any problems or get them some advice on search warrants, or if it's just not there. so they're not bothering the judge. And so not that we have any kind of authority per se. It's not like
You're giving a legal analysis.
Yeah, I'm just basically saying, okay, let's talk about it, then we go through it. Or, they'll send it to me and I'll read through and say, hey, I don't see it here. Like, I think you got to go back and get more. Or, okay, I do see it. So it's kind of we put it in there so that way that when it comes to the judge, it's more ready, basically.
It's just a matter of like refining the affidavits and things.
But when you're on search warrant phone, like in the DA's office, it's a 24/7 thing. So
it's literally a phone.
If it goes off, it's literally a phone. If it goes off at 2 a.m, you better be answering that. And so it's a little rough, So when I hear judges, complain about it, I'm like, I've been on that too. It stinks.
A little bit of solidarity.
3 a.m. It's hard when it goes off. And you're like, okay, let's here we go. Let's talk about this. Yeah.
All right.
Let's get to the brain.
How many days in a row do you have the search warrant phone?
You'll have it for a week. Yeah. But when you're on like a team like that and when you're working with these guys, they will like reach out to you to talk to you about the cases and all that stuff.
But that's not like immediate in the moment. Hey, we're ready to execute. Like we're ready to roll. That's
it's usually more like that. Yeah.
We're investigating somebody who we have a trail of evidence on.
Yeah.
Wait till awake hours and then.
That was kind of understood. Like don't call me at 2 unless we have to. Like.
But won't they also call when something happens and they've got, let's say, exigent circumstances and they're like, well, I got a question on this. Let me make sure I'm able to go here, or we're already here. Should we apply for a warrant for this extra thing?
Yep. So you'll be doing that too.
So there are times where it's like, oh, we could go through this door, but we need to make sure it's okay to go through the door.
Yeah, because last thing we want is they do all this work and all of a sudden we're like, just got pitched in court. Sorry, guys.
Right.
So we're trying to give them good advice too. To like, let's make sure we're keeping everything in the Constitution, keeping it
because
square so it works.
The issue there, which is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's be very clear. These Fourth Amendment protections are there for
Of course.
a reason.
Yeah.
But let's say in this hypothetical, they're exigent circumstances, searching a vehicle. They don't have probable cause necessarily without a warrant to get in the trunk. They open the trunk and find a body. That evidence gets excluded.
Yeah.
And so then a particularly heinous crime, you can imagine whatever terrible stuff is in there, you're not going to get justice for it.
Yeah, you got to be, and that's why we're always talking to them about you got to be really careful. And sometimes you're like, listen, I'm doing the right thing. It's like that's great. You feel that way, but we got to be real tight because we got the defense attorneys. They're smart. They read the same things. Everybody's reading the same thing, and so they're going to pick it out. If I'm picking it out, they're going to pick it out.
That's the interesting thing is these rules aren't hidden.
Yeah,
right. Everybody has access to them.
We all know. Yeah,
some people aren't as good at employing them, which is the strange part to me because I've always thought like this isn't exactly like super high level information. It's not calculus, right? Where you might get an answer that I'm not going to get. It's a pretty clear thing, right?
Yeah, we know we know what it is.
Yeah. There's definitely shades of gray within the case law.
I get that,
but to try and help the officers say, hey, let's take out all that gray. Let's get it. Like,
let's just do it right.
Well, also from the perspective that they're coming from, and this is the thing that I always appreciated about my officers when they call me. They're just in it. They're face down in this thing, and they've got a job to do, and they're trying to do it to the best of their ability.
And they know it's a bad guy, they genuinely believe that they're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you guys said that because a lot of times people be like, oh, they're just out there like screw their rights. I'm like, no, like they're really trying to like do the right thing. And when you're in it, it's one thing for me to be like laying in bed and giving advice. It's nothing if you're like in it and you're like in the moment. So I totally get.
Yeah, you just had to chase the guy down.
Yeah.
Maybe run and tackle him. He tried to fight you. Your adrenaline's kicked up.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m. You've been on since 7 p.m. You're about to have to do a bunch of paperwork. You had a dog behind. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things.
So much.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's taking out the situations where someone shot at you. Right? And so you were in fear for your life. And now you have to make a call. Do I have enough to get inside this box?
Yeah.
Right? And it can be as simple as that. The vehicle has a box in the back. What is the crime I'm looking at? Is it failure to stop on signal? Okay, well, that doesn't get me in the box, right? Because there's no evidence of that crime that could be in there to find, right? There is no exigence at that point.
Yeah.
But that cop, and again, you know me, right?
Yes.
But I'm going to give them their due here. It's natural. I would do the same thing in that scenario. I'd be like, fuck. Screw that! I'm getting in the box. I caught myself. I didn't say it.
Well, because it's a natural human reaction.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
And so we try and be. I mean, like trying to help.
Minutes.
We're trying to help,
but I still didn't say
honestly, we're trying to be like somebody you can talk to and like get through.
So, right.
And cops are instructed to be curious and persistent, right? So the balance of that versus the Fourth Amendment, pesky Fourth Amendment, right, is It's got to be balanced.
We need to get Haley on this because she and I go back and forth about my pesky Fourth Amendment. She literally said that to me one day. She's like, yeah, you and your pesky Fourth Amendment. I'm like,
We got to put that on a banner.
We do. My pesky Fourth Amendment.
The pesky Fourth Amendment. I was like,
that came from Haley. I can't remember exactly what was going on. She's like, oh, you and your Fourth Amendment. I'm like, nah, bro, it's our Fourth Amendment.
It's everybody's.
But it is an interesting thing when you look at it from that perspective because, like you say, people are always like, oh, they're out to get them. And I mean, in a way they are, but they're not doing it to usurp these rights. They're doing it because their job is to find things. They're the investigatory arm. They're not charging. They're not prosecuting. They're literally just investigating and sussing out information.
And so don't put your stuff out there and there's cameras everywhere is what we'd always, tell people.
As a prosecutor, would you agree with this statement?
Listen,
as a prosecutor, I'm
not at all as a prosecutor.
No?
As a prosecutor, no.
No, I think
because he prosecutes the people that talk to cops. And
listen, we should be open and honest with all of our information.
All right, we're not on the same page.
You get the point that I'm asking.
I understand the point. I'm just messing with you guys.
We can respectfully disagree. Fifth Amendment, pesky Fifth Amendment as well.
I'm going to push back in this case. Not saying I'm just saying. But there have been, I've seen plenty of cases where somebody says something and the officer who's investigating is kind of like, I don't know, like there's some, and then I've seen people where they said the officer, it's like, hey, can you talk to me? And then the person explains from their side and they're like, oh, okay. And then they don't charge it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I've seen that happen many times.
I have seen it happen as well.
I've seen that happen.
But can you, for argument's sake, put it in a percentage for me? How many do you think go that way versus the other way when they open their mouth and then they do get charged?
Your child's being investigated for a crime. Would you want them to talk to the cops or wait till a trusted adult or attorney was there to analyze and make sure?
See, that's different. My kid. You're talking about my kids. No.
I'm your blood. It's different.
No. But I'd want to talk to my kid. But I would probably tell my kid. I'd probably tell my kids. Yeah, explain what happened.
But you're also filtering this through the lens of
as long you don't think your kids are doing anything wrong either, right?
So. Because that's the lens that you're operating.
Yeah. Okay. No, I am. All right. I got good kids. I got good kids.
And then, he's a DA, so behind the scenes, he pushes certain buttons, right?
Here's the funny thing is, people say that, but I'm like, you know how it is these days. I've always told my kids, I was like, when my boys got to be in like high school, I said, listen, that's not that important, but I'm here to tell you, if you screwed up royally, that front page is going to say, child of deputy district attorney did blah, blah, blah. I was like, you've got to be of chief. There you go. Chief. Child of, and I was like, listen, when I work in this realm, you're looked at, like, you're going to be really looked at. And so you got to be, not that they were doing anything, but I'm just saying you got to be really careful.
They did.
And so I think it's other like, people always think like, the old days, like, hey, let them off. I'm like, oh, no, I think it's quite the opposite, actually. I think the spotlight is bright and I think it's right on you.
I think for a long time it was that way.
Yeah.
And I think that
maybe small town and kind of thing.
Well, even if it wasn't a small town.
Yeah.
Because people are people everywhere, whether they're in a big city or not. Because Vegas, people talk about it being a small city. It's not. Population-wise, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's huge.
But each different layer you go through, let's start with the police. That automatically cuts the population down massively. You've got North Las Vegas, Henderson, Las Vegas proper, Metro.
Yeah.
You got Boulder City, these different municipalities. Well, the percentage of who we're talking about as far as the population just dwindled. Then you go to attorneys. Then you go to whoever, this. So at each level, you get that small town sort of connectivity within the microcosm of the total population. And I think naturally, when those good buddy deals got made, whether it be in the 90s, early 2000s, however long ago, everybody's met somebody who got off when they shouldn't have because of who their dad knew or whatever. That naturally makes people mad because it is the level of favoritism.
I totally understand.
So I agree with you. I think that now you're going to get the rubber band has shifted or the pendulum has swung the other way because we don't want that. We want equal justice, right? Yeah. Not just because, your dad happens to be a chief deputy district attorney. Yeah. You're going to get a slap on the wrist whenever you should have gotten, a harder punishment or whatever, insert thing here.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about murder. Well, we're talking about like, I don't know, for instance, something silly like a reckless driving or a DUI. Yeah. Kids back home, you happen to be the nephew of the detective when they pull you over. When in high school, I got a buddy who was, related to a detective in the town. What are you doing? When he gets here, he's going to smash your face. And they call his uncle. And his uncle comes over, and sure enough, he gets a little whooping on the side of the road, but he doesn't get a DUI. That kind of thing happened, and people don't like that. Yeah. And it's fair.
Yeah, fair. I have no problem with it. I mean, when I told my kids, I was just like, hey, just so you know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So just don't be stupid.
Right.
As a dad, I do a lot of don't be stupid. That's a real kind of go-to move.
I think that's sound advice. for anybody.
You know, don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
There's a lot of stupid out there. Don't hang out with stupid. You know how it is. There's a lot of layers to don't be
Especially
stupid.
when you're a kid. Like you do stuff that like in the moment it seems like it's a great idea. And let's say it's something like you remember there was that phenomenon, those idiot kids, and it wasn't us, it was the generation after us. They were doing the car surfing crap.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're going 60 miles an hour standing on the hood of a car. What do you think's going to happen, dummy?
We had, there was.
I mean, we did stupid crap. I'm not saying we didn't, but that is like an extra layer of dumb.
That's some next level stupid.
Right. And so like when you say things like that, it's like, hey, maybe take into account the risk calculation, you know, and some kids are harder at that.
See, my second oldest, he was giving me grief recently because a bunch of his buddies were going to go hike Angel's Landing in Science. And I was like, are you sure you want to hike? You know, because, you know, I was
there
a
is
little
no
nervous.
joking there.
Yeah. And I was like, he wanted to do it when it's like during winter time. I said, can we wait till April? I was like, can we wait till April at least? And so that kind of stuff made me nervous.
I don't get like a lot of social nervousness with people. Like sometimes something will be happening and I feel nervous for them. It's like secondhand embarrassment, but secondhand nerves. Yeah. The one time I did Angel's Landing, there was some people that were like in Birkenstocks with a 12-year-old, which fine, 12-year-old could totally hike that with dad's help. Great. Let your kid experience this. It's great for him. When they got to the top, these kids were running around kind of goofing off. The people I was with, I was like, I need to leave. I was like, I'm freaking out. I was like, I got to get the hell out of here. Because I couldn't handle it.
I was a Boy Scout and we went when I was like 14
I'm
or
getting
15.
goosebumps just thinking about it. It was so scary.
And I don't know if our leaders were lying to us, but they were like, a kid died here 2 weeks ago because they were goofing around. They told me that. I think it's just the story. So we did not mess around at all. We were like holding on to those chains, like being
2,000
careful.
feet down at the top.
It was gorgeous, amazing.
Dude, there was the summer that I went, somebody had backed off doing a selfie and they walked off backwards.
Oh,
because you don't have the depth perception.
Me the chills, man.
And like we're all gonna die, right? But I
don't want to die.
I hope I don't die in such a not even.
I don't want to be that story for the other group. You know?
It's not that it's stupid. It's not that it's stupid. It is stupid, but it's so preventable.
Yeah,
because you could die in a dumb way, and it's just like whatever. But something that's stupid and 100% preventable. Like
when your kids get to be that age, so like he's 18, you know, and so I'm like now I can't tell him don't do it, but I can be like just be really smart, buddy. Like if it's snow on the ground, just don't do just please turn back and do it another day. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because I don't know, man. I mean, I'm sure that you had it in your high school where kids, you know, get hurt or killed. Yeah. Just being kids, you know, because they didn't appreciate
driving
the risk.
stupid, do all that stuff.
Yeah. It sucks.
And like there's some old man dad talk here. We just moved into dad talk, guys.
I'm not even old. My kid's only 2.
I was gonna say, I know your kid's young.
Yeah, he's young, but apparently
you'll get there.
I'm a helicopter parent already.
Yes, you are.
Really? Helicopter snowplow.
He cannot be hands off. It's horrible. It is what it is. My oldest is almost 12, so.
Do you know what
you also have spare ones.
Oh,
I've only got one.
I was just about to say. I was about to say, Justin, that there's an easy way to get past this. Just have more kids. Once you have a bunch of kids, then you're like, you know,
That is true.
Absolutely not.
You get tied around to all the other ones. I got 4, so you just kind of divvy it up.
You got how many?
4.
Nice.
Well, I got as many as you two put together.
Yeah, I got spares. Yeah, my brother's got 7.
Ooh,
that's a lot.
How many brothers you got?
So I got 1 brother and 2 sisters. So there's 4 of us.
How many total
grandkids? We got is it 19? I was like,
4 turned into 19?
No. I'm trying to figure out. Well, no, you're talking right within all the grandkids. Is that what you're talking about?
You 4, you and your siblings.
So we have 4. Then my other sister's 4. Then my other sister's 3. And my brother's 7. So what was that 10? 18.
Ooh,
yeah. So it's a family reunions are popping. It's exciting. We got there's a lot of like. What's going on?
Only child, and I have one blood cousin. We're the opposite end of the white trash spectrum because like they were really bad at having kids. My mom tried to have other kids after me, but she had like a lot of miscarriages. I want to say she had like 6 or 7 miscarriages.
Oh my gosh!
She ended up. She had some. You know, some women are just not. It's not easy for them to have babies. I don't know what was wrong with her uterus, but obviously a lot.
I'm glad Justin said it, so I didn't have to.
The joke that I make, usually depending upon the audience, is one of 2 things happened when they had me. They either realized they achieved perfection, they could never do any better, or they're like, we're done. We're never doing this again.
Like, for the good of America, we will stop
there
at this
cannot
one.
be 2.
There can only be one Antichrist here. So.
Yeah, right. The little 2-year-old pooping off the front porch.
Yeah, the Bible didn't say Antichrists, plural. Just
the one.
So,
so you're on the SVU team at this point.
We're already back. Okay, so back on the SVU team.
And this is your second time?
That was my second time. So that was doing the sex trafficking cases.
Okay, yeah.
Which, like I said, it was really cool, really interesting. And then I got put to be a team chief over outlying. So then I was back over the outlying things for team chief.
But when we met, you were on L.
And then they moved me to be team chief of L3.
L3, yeah.
So then I was team chief of L3.
Track from, at the time it was Jacinto to Schwartz and Holthus.
Yeah.
And then it switched from Schwartz to Crawl. And then Jacinto lost the election to Bradford.
Yeah.
And at that point, I believe it was after all of that, you switched back to SVU.
Yeah, and then they moved me over to be the team chief of SVU.
Okay, and that's where you're currently at.
Yeah, so I've been there about a year and a half.
How did you like that stint you had on the General Lit team?
I loved it.
Even having been specialty for...
I mean, in candor, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. Well, listen, so
it's just an opinion thing.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to leave. Like when they asked me, when they talked about team chief of SVU, I was a little like, it's like I'm really happy doing this because it's cool. It's a cool job because you have you're helping train new deputies, so you're trying to help them out. But at the same time, you're working with with the courts, and I really liked the courts. I really liked Judge Wood. I really liked Judge Jacinto. Like I thought they were great judges and smart, and like I liked appearing in front of them, and then also the district court level.
Where does Judge track up to, or Wood track up to?
And then Judge Wood, she track up to Israel and to Yeager. And so I like both of those. I liked the track. I liked the judges. I liked the people. Like I was happy. And then they put me over onto SVU, which was good. It was great, but I also missed it too because it was interesting in its own way. It was fun.
Right. You're not going to have that mentorship either because all the people who are on SVU different. Are already, and you're still mentoring this because it's the practice of law, right?
Yeah, of course.
But you're not going to get baby attorneys like fresh, brand new, never done a trial, never even done an evidentiary hearing where you're going to get to really be hands-on with that sort of stuff. So
yeah. No, and now I'm now the old guy. So now the young people on my team have to come in and help me with like technical things. So like, no, here's how you're going to download that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Who's on SVU now?
So you got me, you've got Dina. Dina really runs a lot. She really runs all the
right
abuse.
Hand, right?
Well, yeah, she's almost like a team in and of herself. She runs all the abuse and neglect stuff, and so she'll funnel it out. But so Dina really she's amazing because she handles so much. And then you have Michael Allman, who's running in Henderson for Justice of the Peace.
Yeah.
And then you have Morgan Lombardo, and you have Elise Conlin, Brittany Griffin, Eckley Keach, Brianna Lamana, and Jake Villani.
Yeah. So
who's also running as well.
I've only dealt with a handful of those people.
Yeah.
Allman, Villani, Lombardo, Renetti.
Yeah.
The other ones I don't think I've ever personally dealt with. I know who they are, generally speaking.
Yeah, and some of them are, when I say younger, like you said, it's not like a brand new or anything, but just like a really...
Maybe it's their first specialty assignment.
Yeah, no, exactly. Okay. And it's kind of cool because they're all just like fired up and want to do the work. You know what I mean? Like I love it.
I feel like with SVU, I don't think there is a half measure there.
Yeah, you got to be all in.
And so let's talk about that. Now that we're let's big picture.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of cases fall under the umbrella of SVU?
So if you look at SVU, like in totality, the umbrella of it covers actually a lot of stuff. So you have the abuse and neglect, both sexual and physical abuse side of children.
Okay, specifically.
So children. So specifically, abuse and neglect. So you'll have, I'm just going to kind of break it down. So you got abuse and neglect, physical abuse. You also have sexual abuse of children. You also have sexual assault of adults.
Okay.
So that's kind of over kind of what we call SVU. But also under the SVU umbrella, you also have Vice Team, which does, they have 3 people. They do what I used to do.
That's which is like pimping and stuff like that.
They do that. They do trick rolls. They do basically all the cases that kind of come from the Vice Team like that. And then you also have domestic violence, and you also have the domestic violence team is technically under the umbrella of SVU. Now, they have their own team chief. That's Laura Rose, who's amazing.
Sure.
So Laura runs it. I'm just saying, like,
but she's under that umbrella. I didn't realize
she's kind of under that umbrella.
For some reason, I had it in my head that they were their own thing.
They are. It's just kind of overarching kind of thing. And the same thing with vehicular crimes. They kind of do their own thing too. They have their own team chief. Chad just got made team chief there. He's amazing.
Because Eric,
he retired. He's done.
What? He looked so young.
Well, he is a little young. He made a little bit of money on the side, and he decided to retire. Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Sick.
Yeah, actually, by saying little money on the side makes it sound like he was like selling drugs.
No,
we're just gonna leave it ominous.
What side deals?
What Eric did. We don't
all
know.
We're gonna say is he was showing a lot of ankle. Okay.
Eric had a gymnastics. He had a gymnastics.
Gambling addiction.
This is code for gambling addiction. That was very successful.
He was betting on the summer or the Winter Olympics and
listen,
hit a big one.
When you win, nobody calls it a gambling addiction. When you're winning,
he had an 8-leg parlay. Curling was number 1. Let's just say he made some good calls.
And he's like, thanks, guys. He had a gymnastics gym. And I think I probably shouldn't speak on it because I don't know that
gymnastics?
much. No, like he owned the gym. He owned the gym.
Oh, okay.
And then he ended up selling it, and I think they did well enough that he was like, I'm going to retire a little early. So
that's
awesome.
So when I first met him, and I've told him this kind of thing to his face. Like he and I finally got to the point where he would joke with me.
Yeah.
But when I first met him, when Yu Mang was still on the team, I literally once I got chummy with you, I went to him and I was like, dude, is Eric okay?
Oh, Eric's great.
Because he would just sit in there and it's like I am my brother's keeper. Like sometimes I see people and I'm like, hey bro, are you good? Do you need to talk? And I'm not doing it in a crappy way. I'm like, are you okay? Because the job can suck. Right.
100%.
And our field has a lot of negative consequences of the pressure that we're under. I always thought Eric was like on the verge of becoming Eeyore, bro. Like he always, as soon as he'd walk in the room, he just I didn't know him like that.
You can't disagree with that. I would say that's my assessment. The most depressed looking prosecutor.
Listen, I think he
had RSF.
RBF.
RSF. Resting sad face.
If you knew Eric, super fun. Like, he's a great guy. He's hilarious. I really like Eric.
No, it was one of those things. Once I got to know him, then he would start joking with me. But he's also maybe, you know how people are. Like I automatically open up to everybody because I don't have any siblings. So it's like, oh, friends.
And no filters.
Yeah. But other people, they take a little while to warm up. I think maybe that's Eric's deal. I don't know. But once he finally did, I was like, wow, I had this completely wrong.
It might have also been his defense mechanism of coming into DUI court every day. And so it's just having to deal with people. So he's just kind of like, in the wild, you give off that like scary vibe. So they're just going to leave you alone.
Yeah,
you get excuses in every criminal courtroom, but in DUI, it's like times 5 or times 10.
Yeah.
And just one after the other.
Even as
I couldn't do my classes. I couldn't do my class. So
I think maybe that was his way of just being like, leave me alone.
For 18 months, Your Honor. He's just asking for one more chance. This
is his 4th last chance, though.
And he got rearrested in a very serious felony case. But probable cause has not been established. They have not had preliminary hearing yet, Your Honor. We would just ask to give him one more chance or pass this. And it's just like you're sitting there. And I get it. Because in the same situation, what am I going to do? Am I going to get up there as a defense attorney and be like, well, you got me. No, I'm going to say what I need to say.
You got to do what you got to do.
Sometimes it sucks
for your client.
I'm fortunate that my track didn't take me there because I think that in those situations you deal with people who are on the fringe of society sometimes, and so they have limited resources in a group that sometimes has limited resources. Yeah. Let's say something simple like internet access, which at this point I think as Americans we probably take that for granted.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks, like I've had clients who are homeless. And like the only time they could get that is if they could go sit next to a Starbucks and charge the phone long enough to not get ran off and then connect to the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Right. So I get it. Right.
Yeah,
they're doing what they can. But like sometimes when you hear this 18 months and you couldn't figure it out, there's a law library, bro. If you really wanted to do it, you would have gone down there. That's, I don't know. But Eric never took it like he never was a jerk about it, which is also nice. No. I liked him for that. Because sometimes you get some of these fired up prosecutors and they're saying stuff and it's almost like, is that a personal statement or a general statement about like what the requirements are and what you should do as a defendant?
Everybody comes in with their own vibe, know. So some people come in like charged, and I'm I don't know. I don't know if I'm the maybe I am. I don't know.
Somebody who's got kind of a when we first met, what was I always joking with you about? Like you were always like wound up, man. Like,
me?
Not mean, but
most people. I was gonna say most people don't think I'm wound up.
I would be like, I'm not gonna tell people.
Justin gives off a vibe sometimes that I think people get defensive for because he tries to get
so rarely
chummy.
Defensive. The only time I was defensive was when you wanted to go beat me up.
I didn't want to beat you.
He wanted to beat me up, and I was like, Justin, I do not want to go get beat up.
This
no, thank you.
invitation is daily to me of coming to
so
open
it's good to
mat.
know I'm not the only one that he was like, hey, you should come to the gym. And I was like,
that means he likes you actually. If he's inviting you to open mat.
Elin Eldar. I invited him numerous times. He'll never come. He made me do a mindfulness thing, like a breathing deal for 30 days, and I did it. He didn't change anything.
You need it.
And I invited him to my dojo, to the place that I get meditation from, and he refused to come.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to better his life.
That's a lawn, man. That just sounds.
He will touch me a lot. Well, I'm not making a report here.
I was gonna say,
just like
I do work in a certain realm, so
of moves.
If you want to talk,
he's like, hey, I want to show you this move, and I'm like, just humor him and let him, wrap his hand around my neck. He is like a child. You do have to humor him a little bit. No, let's.
I'm gonna buy you guys a mannequin and just keep it in there. So
dude,
you can just like
please.
put it in.
They make those. They're expensive. Feel free. Please buy them.
Please. Hey, no favors. You can't buy us.
But I don't remember what the point of that was. There was a reason.
There's no point. We have a little time available. Well, I want to talk about the judicial position.
Sure. Yeah.
What is the seat? What's the assignment of the seat you're going for right now?
So here's what you got. So it's Judge Sturman, who she retired recently. So she's
Is she
retired.
out already?
When
Like,
they do
gone.
that, do they
She's
give
gone.
like, hey, I want to retire in 30 days, figure it out?
They can.
Okay.
Sometimes it works like that. Hey, I'll be on till the election cycle, but she was not that way, is my understanding.
I don't know for sure. I do know that she told them. I mean, she gave them enough time that they're
Got
like,
the ball
okay, we're
rolling.
going to
And
do.
they got the senior judge's
thing.
office to come in and oversee stuff. So it's not like she's leaving them high and dry.
Justice
or anything.
Cherry has been appearing there, and actually, I pop over there, just kind of talk about it, just in case I get the appointment. I want to be ready. You know, I don't want to just wait.
You
want to
know the
minute.
staff.
I want to know. Yeah, and so I've got to know the staff just in case. I told them that there's like a fine line between I'm trying to be like pushy or I just don't want to show up and be unprepared. You know, but
that's a bigger thing because nobody wants to do that job and not be ready for it.
No, exactly.
Or at least nobody that has a brain.
It's too big of a job to just show up unprepared. So. That's what happened as far as with her just retiring early. So they did the appointment part of it. So it's kind of interesting because it's not just a run. So I'm running, but there's also the appointment part. So if I get the appointment, I'm still running. And so I've got to run to retain it. So then you'll see signs that say, retain
and then there's a primary and a general.
And there's a primary and general because there's 3 of us.
That sucks that you have to.
It's a lot going on.
That sucks you have to redo your signs if you've already done them.
Well, so I held off on the signs for that reason, just to see. But
the appointment will happen soon enough that you'll have enough time to properly campaign as you
It's going to be in the next couple of weeks. Well, it has to by law. He has 30 days, and so it's been a couple of weeks. So
What's the assignment? The governor.
I know that.
Yeah.
Did you go through the normal interview process, or since it was only 2 of you guys that applied, hey, there's only 2 applicants, so go straight to the governor? Or did you do that process in front of the committee?
So they had So you had to do the first part. You had to do that whole application, which is it was a beast. It was a big application. So I did all that.
Kind of like a bar application.
It's actually
it's
more.
like
It's
20
way more than
some
that.
odd pages.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so you have to go back, and I was going back and looking through all this old stuff to make sure, I mean, what you're talking about, they would ask you what you did in high school. You're like, I think I remember. And so you're like looking up and pulling out your yearbook and all that. But so did that. And then because there were 2 going for the appointment, the committee met, and they did it on Zoom, and it was open to the public. So I watched it. And so they decided.
But no interviews like
they decided not to do interviews just because the point of the interviews is to kind of hone it down into 2 or 3 people. Yeah. And so because
there's already been 2, sure.
Yeah, so they're like, we could do it, but there's not really like a prevailing reason to.
Gotcha. Kind of a waste of resources.
Exactly. And that's what they talked about. They don't want to expend any extra resources and make taxpayers pay for something
that's public money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our money.
No, that was the discussion, and they were like, "Listen, let's send it on." And they said nice things about both me and Dan Hoagie. They said
they lied about you. That's cool.
They lied about me. They said we have 2 applicants who seem to be perfectly capable. They both seem to be fine to do this, and so we're just going to send it on to the governor.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Is it a full civil seat? I guess that was part of my question.
So what it is, it's a full civil right now. So it was before it's probate. It was like 75% probate.
Okay.
And then just a couple of weeks ago, they kind of branched off the probate. And so you've got Judge Reynolds got some of the probate, Judge Peterson got some of the probate, and then Judge Barasich got a bunch of the probate too. So they kind of split that off. And so then they made it into, so now it's all civil. And the way I describe it to people is it's all civil, but as we know, most of the dockets that most of the judges have are split dockets. That's the kind of prevailing norm. You'll have kind of half civil, half criminal. And so you kind of, when people say like, oh, hey, that's a civil docket, I'm like, well, yeah, but these things change all the time.
Reassignments happen.
Reassignments constantly.
All the time.
I mean, Judge Gall put onto criminal recently, and then other judges. So I mean, it's very common. And so what they'll do is, the Chief Justice will look at it and say, well, okay, who's the judge? What kind of skills do they have and
what
everything?
What strengths and weaknesses do you bring?
So this is my way of saying, I mean, I can't predict the future, but I would think, if I get this, yes, it's civil right now, and I think it would continue to be civil. It wouldn't surprise me though if it became a split docket.
Yeah. None of us would be surprised.
I think that would be kind of a common thing, just coming from my background, to be civil and criminal, which is what, like I said, pretty much all the judges. I mean, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the judges.
I think all the current former prosecutors are split
prosecutors and public defenders are all
defenders. They're all
because
split.
they have that background. It makes sense. It makes no sense to waste. You're still utilizing a skill set, especially when you're talking about trial and evidence and things. But if you're talking literally specifics on the law, things, especially like SVU, a place you're probably very well familiar with.
Yeah.
Why waste that knowledge?
Yeah.
Or not waste. Why not use the knowledge to be a more positive way of looking?
But with that said, I don't want to diminish the civil part. I'm excited to get into the civil. I'm excited to get in there and to work on it. I've already kind of started looking at things, and I've been sitting in court, and it's exciting. It's like, getting back to something you had done like a long time ago, and to be part of this. I think it's great.
So you've been studying on civil law?
Well, listen.
Tell me every single rule of civil procedure right now.
Yeah, what's the rule against perpetuities?
Let's go. Rule against perpetuities. We used to have that all memorized, and so but listen. I think what helps is here's the good part. What helps is, like you said, with the litigation background, we've done a lot of jury trials, and you guys know jury trials is jury trial.
Do you know how many you've done?
It's close to 50. It's about 46, 47. It's right around there, and
you don't have like a kill sheet where it's like
because
X number of charge or X number of trials, X number of years incarcerated?
No. It's funny, and I tell people this, and people are always surprised. I'm like, it's really not like the movies. Like if you get a good verdict, guilty, in the movies they go out and they
never lost a case,
and they party, and everybody's so excited. And then in reality, like I get a verdict, and so I'll like call the victim, let them know. And then after that, I just want to just go home because I just want to sleep. Like you're so exhausted.
That's the part that people don't realize.
You're just exhausted. And then, by the way, the next morning I wake up, I got to go back to work because there's now a pile of cases that I have not been working on for the last 2 weeks. Sure. And so I don't want to make it sound sad.
You don't like 18-hour days?
What's that?
You don't like 18-hour days?
Yeah, no, it's great.
Well, I love that. That's my favorite part.
But
and then he gets paid extra too for doing.
Oh yeah, all that extra pay for the extra work.
Sure.
How it works.
Yeah, whenever people talk about overtime, I'm like, what's this overtime you're talking about?
Salary. What's the salary? I don't know.
Yeah, but so in that sense, it's good. I mean, it's important and all that, but it's not like screw that guy. It's you're really just trying to do the right thing and trying to do right by the victim and the case. The police officers worked on it, and then you move on to the next cases because you still got a million more.
And I'm sure that this is probably something that you deal with on SVU a lot, especially. And it's something I've experienced a couple of times. I'm sure you've experienced it more. Sometimes those victims think that it's going to be cathartic, and it's not. It's not. It depends on how it shakes out, or they thought it would be more to them than it was. I bet that's also a difficult element.
They
for
thought
you.
they'd get closure, and
it's
not. It's typically that
they get
way.
their day in court, they get justice, but sometimes justice is not what they thought it would. At least I've experienced that a couple of times.
No. I mean, listen, SVU cases are, and they're difficult just in general. They're just kind of tough cases, and they're heart wrenching. I mean, as you guys, I mean, it's absolutely just wrings you emotionally.
I mean, there's a reason we don't take those kinds of cases for the most part.
Yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want to
understand. And like you said, and so with the victims, I mean, I've had victims who through the whole process, by the end, it really was very cathartic. But I've also had other people where, I mean, they still have, I mean, a long ways to go as to like really climbing up that hill, and it's really tough, and it's very emotional. And I've had cases where I was like, listen, we have to negotiate this right now because I can see. I mean, I had a trial was it last year or the year before? Anyways, recently, where we had to negotiate the case halfway through the trial because the victim, the more she talked to us and the more she was telling us about things and the more emotional, and at a certain point, my trial partner and I were like, this isn't going well for her. Like this is getting to a point of not just hard, but now we're getting like worried for her well-being and trying to help her emotionally. And so we had to figure out what we were going to do.
Is it going to do more damage to her to put her through
exactly
this?
Because
when presumably she's already been through something awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't get to SVU when it's
no. And so those are the things. And so when you're evaluating a case, there's so many things, but you're also evaluating like what's going to be best for this victim. Like I want to make sure that they're going to be okay.
Because that's your job, right?
That's
your job is to do
equal and exact justice for everybody.
Exactly.
Thank you. Hey,
I love that.
Yeah. Thanks, Pete. I
love that.
Exactly. No, but it
the
is
Supreme Court said that.
The Supreme Court, our United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, it's important too because sometimes people think DAs and they're just like they think that, like you said, there's a kill thing and. I
was kidding with that.
I know you were. But there's something that somebody said it ticked me off. It wasn't this cycle, but it was like the last judicial cycle. And there's some guy who'd never done criminal, and he's like, "Oh, I hear the DAs. They all brag about it's you're a great DA if you can put an innocent man in prison." And he said that, and first of all, I was like, I wanted to punch that dude.
Yeah,
I was like, that's bull crap.
First off, if I heard a prosecutor when I was a prosecutor say that, I probably would invite them to open mat right there. Yeah, because that's an awful thing to say.
So open mat is a negative invitation and a positive invitation.
No, I'm just being sarcastic.
You have to parse it out. You have to parse it out.
No, but it's
in location, brother.
It made me really mad that he said that because I was like, no, like I'm here to like
you
I
get
really
fired.
If you
had
100%
if you
get
said
fired.
that in your office, I would assume you'd get the boot.
And I've never had Steve Wilson never comes in and is like, hey, convict no matter what. I don't care.
How many innocent people this year, Pete? Thank you. Get a raise.
No, I mean
50 innocents, $50 extra.
It really is.
That doesn't happen.
That's probably the rate, though.
$1 per innocent man.
No, to me, it's a crazy thought because I see myself as like, no, I legitimately, my whole heart, I want to see the right thing happen. Now, sometimes I'm going to disagree with people what that right thing is, or we're going to disagree. Like you think probation, I think prison, but I still want to see the right thing happen.
Right.
And so I don't know. It always not hurts me, but you know what I mean. I'm like, well, that sucks that people would think that because there's no extra money, there's no overtime, nobody's keeping stats. Like Pete's awesome. There's no gold badge for this. It's just your reputation.
You're in the 10,000 prison years club now.
Yeah.
Like it's not
exist.
like
that. It just that's not a thing.
A billboard. You're gonna make your own billboard, like the PI attorneys do with billion recovered.
Yeah, over 1.6 billion recovered.
Over 1,000 hours in prison.
10,000 years in jail, in prison.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not the thing.
But I've never met anybody. I've met some prosecutors that I thought were maybe a little bit on the zealous side, let's call it. But I've even the guys that I would be like, hey, bro, maybe relax a little bit. I've never met anybody like that.
Yeah.
In three different states that I've because when I was in New York for law school, I was working with externships and stuff. Never saw that there. Never saw it in Kansas. Never saw it here. Never even heard of anybody like that personally.
Yeah. It'd be what a crazy way. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you're doing that, like, what are you doing? That's
you
crazy.
need therapy.
Yeah. So it's nice. I mean, so running for judge. So when people are like, well, I mean, is that going to be a big shift? And I'm like,
sure.
I mean, yes, it's different, but at the same time, my mindset for a long time has been, what's the right thing? So I mean, it changes in some ways, but at the same time, it's also let's do the right thing. I mean, I think that's important.
Do you think that your experience being across the teams would be helpful for you for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's when you've seen every kind of crime, like literally, I mean, everything from trespass to murder and everything in between. I mean, it gives you a really good perspective, I think, on not just the case in front of you, but all the different cases. And then also I'm not tens of thousands of cases. I mean, literally over 18 years, it's tens of thousands of cases. And so I've seen, I've sentenced thousands of people. I've done, I've gone through all these different things. I've gone through so many cases that I feel like you get a good sense of like what's right or what's fair, and so you get that also through working with your colleagues. And so what's been gratifying is a lot of people that I work with have been supportive of the run, and to me it feels good to know like, hey Pete, we trust that you have an understanding of what's right, what's fair, overall kind of an idea of when we look at all these different kinds of cases.
Okay, so next question: once it comes time, what do people need to do?
So when it comes time, so we have the primary elections coming up in June. And so primary elections in June, and then the generals in November. And so we've got 3 in the race. And so, vote Pete Thunell. And so in the meantime, what I would tell people to do is, are you talking about?
No, this is right. I just have a sub question. If the primary goes and one of you gets 50% and one vote, that's it, right?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure if.
Yeah.
Because it's 3, I don't know.
Maybe I should have been more cocky. When I win in June with 58% of the vote, Justin. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, listen, I run against 2 great people. And so, I mean, when it's great people, it's a tough race, but also there's also something kind of good to know that you have like respectable people that also are going for the same kind of thing.
Sure.
And so, we're all kind of going for the same goal there on that. But what I hope is people do is, look me up. Go to prosecutorpeteforjudge.com. It's an alliteration.
That's a different one.
It's an alliteration. So I was trying to be a little bit different. So, but you can go there, you read a little bit about me, kind of look into that. And, and I say that for this race and for all races, make an informed decision, and I think it's tough because there's so many judges. And every time I say judge, people are like, oh my gosh, like there's like 1,000 of these.
I'm going to start getting all these text messages.
I know. And I get it, but I think it's worth a little bit of time, just get it. And then you see who aligns with what I think, who aligns with what I believe a judge should be doing.
Well, give us the elevator pitch, just 1 minute. Why our listeners and why me and Justin should vote Pete Thunell.
All right, thank you. Well, so for 18 years, like I've been talking about, I've been working at the district attorney's office, and during that time, I think I've had a really good chance to work with victims, to work with the law enforcement, all of that, and to gain the kind of experience that I think is necessary for when you're on the bench, especially when we talked about jury trials. What we need on the bench is we need people who are going to be able to get in there and do trials, people who are going to be able to have cases move along and not just kind of drag it out. And so I think with my experience, I'm ready to get in there. I'm ready to be a litigation judge. I mean, I think that's what's most important. And so that's what I want to do, is I want to go in there. And I also believe that with this experience, it's made me open to hearing from everybody, from making the right decisions, from getting to that point so that I can be a judge for everybody. And that goes for criminal and for civil. I mean, civil people, everybody's coming to court 9 times out of 10 is one of their worst days because something bad has happened. And so I want to make sure that I'm there to make sure that the right thing happens. And I think I have the experience to do that.
Awesome.
That's great.
That was a good elevator pitch.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
That was great. All right.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, you guys. This is a lot of fun.
As always, throughout our interactions, I know we make a lot of jokes, but I think we're both that kind of person. I have always enjoyed working across from you. Haven't always agreed with you.
That's fair.
I think a lot of the times you and I
fair.
have come to a pretty good consensus. I think probably 90% of the things we've kind of come to the same general vicinity on, only the few times, but you've always been very respectful. and not a jerk about it. So I truly appreciate that out of the ops. So thank you so much.
And back to you, even though I teased that you wanted to beat me up, and maybe you did, but
I didn't want to beat you up. I just want to
No.
strangle you a little bit.
But
It's just a strong hug.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's that we all have, and we're going to have different
it
opinions.
is what
We
it
just
is,
are.
yeah.
But everybody can respect each other. And,
Sure.
and that you can tell. What drives me crazy is when people won't tell me their position, explain it to me. Just explain the position. I might disagree with you. And I mean, that's what you wanted to hear from a judge, too. Hey, even if you're going to disagree, now I at least know where you're coming from.
You're at least going to hear me out.
Yeah, can hear me
Right.
out. That's important.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's huge. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Pete. Best
Appreciate it.
podcast you've been on today, right?
That's tough. Because
Wait, how about this? Is this,
It was a
is this a
fantastic-
true statement? Second podcast you've been on today.
the second podcast I've been on today, and actually, let me say this: the second podcast I've ever been on. Period. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not as handsome as you guys, so these video podcasts. I think if it was just a voice, I'd get a little more podcasty. But these guys, look how good looking they are. I mean,
You
this
think
is
so?
look at this.
You really think so?
Look at this. Look at the bald
I have
and this.
pink skin, bro.
Me and Pete went to
people
prom together,
constantly
right?
Ask me if
Yes, we
I'm-
did. We did.
People constantly ask me if I got sun this weekend. It's like,
Listen,
nah, dude, this is just the curse of being German and Irish.
If I knew I'd have to look at myself the whole time, maybe I
did-
would have come like makeup.
you did
know,
like
they
a
have,
great
the
job of
de-shine
just
it.
staring at me.
I don't want to look at that. Look, I'm right there. I don't want to see
It's
that.
tough. And like the
I don't
problem
wanna
is
see
when
that.
you look at yourself, your eyes are off. Whereas here it doesn't look as weird, like because I can, I don't know. So this
No,
this
I
feels
didn't
better to me.
look at myself. It's the same thing when I go. So when I'll be in trial, and you'll come in, and they'll have like the little monitor at your table.
Yep.
And invariably, there'll be the back camera that
flips
shows
around,
my gigantic bald spot.
Yeah.
And I just go over and I just go click. I just turn it off.
turn
I'm
that
like,
off.
I don't
Don't
need
need
to
to
see
see
this.
that.
I was like, I don't need to see this right
Do you
now.
have any trials coming up?
Coming up in like the next couple weeks,
I mean, like let's say the next month.
in the next month, maybe. There's one.
And then what
Your
happens?
team just had a huge one, so
Yeah, team is we just did a big one.
Chasing horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
What
So
was the
team
result?
a really
of
big
that?
one.
It was a guilty,
Guilty on
out
most.
of 13.
Yeah, it was like half. It was like half of them guilty.
And then I believe sentencing hasn't happened yet, right?
no, not yet.
Okay. And then so the question I thought of just now.
Yeah.
Let's say you get the appointment.
Yeah.
Who takes over?
Well, so if things, once again, here's the thing: you never want to sound like you're being like cocky
Ooh,
because
yeah.
you know what I mean. Like you don't want to sound like
you want to be prepared.
But
You want to be
not-
prepared
you have
without
to have a
being like
contingency just in
But
case.
exactly, that's the thing is,
Especially for your job. It's
no,
pretty
exactly. I don't want
important.
to also just be like, oh my gosh, guys, this just happened, and everybody's like, what the
Bye.
heck? Yeah, like
Good luck, bros.
see you later, guys. So you're trying to like dance a fine line, where you're not looking like because listen, the other guy who put in for the appointment, Dan Hoagie, he's a good guy. Like he's a smart guy.
He should
like
also have the same plan because
he
as
should-
chief
and-
bar counsel, his job's pretty important as well.
100% agree.
And
Like
he
he
can't
should
just be
have
like,
like.
oh guys, Friday they told me at 5:00, so I won't be seeing you Monday.
And luckily, my understanding is they're going to give me a little bit of time, and we'll
Sure.
talk about it, like just to wind things down. And there's
Sure.
also some things in the background at my office to be like, okay, so if Pete gets this appointment, here's what we're going to do. So there's
Sure.
some stuff in the works I can't talk about.
No, I don't mean like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just
yeah.
generally speaking, you guys have to have some kind of an idea.
No, yeah.
Because there's how many people? It's Brown, Beaumont, you, Allman,
There's a bunch of us.
Villani. That's 5. Who else is running?
Hibbits,
okay, Tracy.
and who am I forgetting? And Quaggy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Quack.
Yeah.
I like him.
Quaggy. So so I mean it's a whole bunch of us,
Yeah.
and the rest of everybody's
And
kind of
more
looking end of
some
the year.
More senior attorneys. Right?
Yeah, no, definitely. So
Colin's
that's
been
tough.
there forever.
Well, so Colleen and Austin, that's our fraud team.
That's your entire
That's
fraud team.
literally the
We
fraud
know
team.
Colleen's gone.
Colleen's gone.
Yeah, she's judge elect.
So they're already. I mean, I'm sure they're already looking at not right now.
But
'cause it's not gonna be till January.
yours could be immediate.
Yeah. So mine's because of the immediacy of
Right.
it. Mine's a lot more like
Because
we've
it's
got to be
November.
ready.
If they win in November, then they go January. So
January.
there's a
Yeah.
little bit of spool up time there.
Yeah, and so with so you asked about like trials coming up. I mean, I already have like my contingency plans. You know, so if this happens, I already know this is going to go to this person. This is going to because you never want anything to fall through the cracks. I mean, it's too important. So,
Right. Yeah, because you can't let something that you've been, especially like an investigation that's taken 3 years.
Yeah,
Then
you
you're
can't
spooling up the
Years.
litigation. That's
You're-
a lot of man hours to be wasted.
just be like, oh, hey,
Oversight because
sorry
of an
guys,
oversight. Because of an oversight. Yeah, which
exactly.
is I'm sure it's not happening.
Yeah. No,
Plus,
it's
enough
gonna
people
be okay.
have been elected before
Yeah.
from your office and any other. Every major office that has as many attorneys as the DA's office has to have had. They've got a playbook.
Yeah,
right?
no,
It's
they
not
got a playbook. They got a playbook.
Steve's done this before, right?
Once or twice.
That's
Yeah,
why
he's
up
been
for
down this road. They'll be fine.
Prosecuting for 6 months.
Yeah, we're just going to take a hiatus.
I mean, it'd
Citizens
be-
of Clark County. Good luck.
It'd be really flattering if they're like, Pete was so important, we can't
what
prosecute
do we
anymore,
do?
guys. Like,
The
we're
most
just shut it down.
important cog in the machine.
This man is irreplaceable.
Yeah, he's not a cog.
It'd be
in the
flattering
room.
but awful. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Thanks for
guys.
being
See you
on.
guys.